What a beauty that is. So back down from Spion Cop and all those other mounds that we've explored, and we're going to do Mosshead Low. We've got one of the frames here that would have taken the slate down. You would have had two more brackets on the front part of it there. See where the holes are, and they would have bedded the slate onto it, and it would have gone down here via the aerial roadway. Got some rails here that would have fed the slate coming out of Mosshead Low towards the aerial roadway, and up ahead there is where they were tipping all the spoils. It's quite a inefficient, because it's about 90% waste. Got some of the cables here and brackets. And one of the couplings there with the pulleys. Don't recall seeing that before. Yeah, so that's actually the pulley that would have ridden on the cables. Yeah, you can see obviously this is where they were coming out. Anything that was spoil of no use because it had impurities in it, either iron or quartz. Should be doable on the stepping stones. Yeah, it's doable on the stepping stones. It's quite wet in here. But at least we've not got the humidity in here today, so you get some good footage. That's a dead sheep. Another one. And oil can. two sets of rails that now split off, and looks like we've got some nice old ladders there ahead of us, but are not in bad condition for these mines. Some nice little fungus growing out of them. Yeah. Another turntable there. Some quite heavy metal work there, some girders. And a nice pulley up on one of the walls. You can see a nice glass pattern there in the rock, either spiralling. So they were intending to go in that direction. Quite a wet mine, this one. There we have another pulley high up on the roof of the chamber. A nice bit of chain work there also. This looks like something that people who've been camping here has made at some point. There's a fire in it. A few track nails in there. Oh, little deck tin with the lid. Oh, very nice. And some deck cord. Also with a grease tub. Okay, let's get out of this one, get on to the next one. And this was the man that sealed it. Once we've been in here and saw the size of the caverns, could not believe it. And one night, about 5 years ago, we actually camped in this building with a big tarpaulin over the top. I remember sleeping there. In fact, they might be the beds that we made just to get a little bit of flat ground and off the soil. So this entrance here is Mosshead Mid. Just up the hillside there you got Mosshead High, which you can scramble through the old adit still, just about, but they interconnect inside anyway, so we'll take you that route instead, because you pass a rather nice water tank that's been there for a long time. So been here in all sorts of weathers, and the most extraordinary thing we've probably seen is this entire entrance full of icicles. Let's take for icicles. You know, it's been cold here. Now let's get up to the top level. Been here many times, but we've never been in a situation where snow's blown inside, and we got loads and loads of icicles hanging inside, some massive ones, about 6-7 foot. So we're going to set some cameras up and get some decent pictures of this lot. Yeah, a little bit tricky to see these ones, so they're so clear. I think you can see them there now. And I think the last video I did from here was the one in winter, where we had 7-foot icicles hanging from the ceiling just in the entrance. So we're back here with probably the best lighting we're ever going to get. So I think between us we've got 90,000 lumens. So there's a route up there to an upper level, which we'll go in a bit. And the upper level's bigger than this lower level. Very misty, isn't it? Yeah. Very humid and misty. Just slightly spoil the outcome of the footage. So got some nice rails now and some nice sleepers. Curious little cutting in that direction as well, which we'll just take a quick look at on the way back. Oh, just wonder if that's a stemming rod. It's all been cleaned up and smoothed off. So we're just coming up to the steam winch here, and you can see the cabling that would have once been on the drum. Track split off here. Possibly a little shelter area. Let's have a look at that winch. What a beauty that is. I'll get you some different angles of it. Yeah, got a heck of a lot of the cable in there that was on it. And that's got a nice high level there. See the brake lever at the front, some sort of adjustable mechanism for where the cable went. Another angle I've not had before. In fact, let's get down a bit closer to it as well. It's stood on some hefty timbers. That's a large oil can. Yeah, so we can see the brake band there on that side, and that's not a brake lever. That's a clutch to engage and disengage it. And apparently all driven by steam, so maybe that's what the tank was for on the outside. It's probably in a state where it's not that rusty that could be restored. There we can see the chambers and the conrods that drove the crankshaft. Looks like there's a piece missing from it across the front there. Beautiful piece of machinery. So you can make out the manufacturer's name on there. I'll have to screenshot that and try and make it out. Possibly got the ball there from some lighting, the reflector. And we've got some more artifacts up on the left here, some drive gears. Oh yeah, and then this another kind of winching system, isn't it? On a much smaller scale. Mesh guide on it. Probably a big mucking plate there. So, a series of winches in here. And the nice pulleys. That's the kind that you usually find up on the ceiling, like we saw in Mosshead lower oil can. Another light reflector. Some woodwork that has been painted red. So, in a little while, we'll be walking along that ledge as we explore the upper workings. There's probably some nice artifacts under this lot. Nice shot holes there in the stone. Lots and lots and lots of tea light candles. Okay, let's get to that connection for the upper level. Seeing a bit of curious metalwork up on the wall there. That I haven't noticed before. Some various old barrels, hydraulic hose. A couple of steel hooks in the side there, and you can just about make up in the centre there pulley. But, let's see with this torch, I can give you a true impression of the size of this place. And this, for the second mine you've ever been in, is just absolutely mind-blowing. Water dripping through the ceiling. Okay, let's go up the connection to the higher level. We've got part of the chassis of a cart there. Another thing I haven't noticed before. usually, because you're too busy making sure you're not going to fall. Well, that's the only cart I've seen up here, or part of a cart. So in one of the buildings we saw an end cap, and you can clearly see it there on that cart as it was a axle end cap. They're very nice. Water tank above. So the only other one I've seen like this, we pass it mine, and it's unbelievable that it's still, after all these years, holding water. Okay, and that's us up onto Mosshead Eye. Well, the humidity seems to be getting a little bit high. There's a bit more particles in the air up here. Plenty of rails knocking about, but they're still also underneath all this lot. A nice water valve. Okay, and then we're coming to the ledge that I indicated we would be walking over earlier. Shot down there. So that was the big chamber that we was in earlier. And we can see cable suspended. And that up there, that is the connection to Spioncop. So when they drove Spioncop, it eventually broke into these workings. And you can see the cable running all the way across into an opening there. And we're going to give you an alternative view of that later. So remains of some old ladders here. There's a few more. Further on, there's a half decent setting, Spioncop. So a bit of a scrambly bit here. So you have to forgive the camera wobbling about a little bit. An old can of something there, you can tell with the ring pull. Looks like a little bottle of Jaeger. And you know, Paul did camp here once, down at the bottom of here. Another one of the winches that you found up towards the tops of the caverns, and another big cavern. And we're just going to get up to that upper level shortly, and that's the back of the chamber, back of the close head. I think we've got a drill steel there. Oh, it's the only one I remember seeing in these mounds. It is. It's a drill steel. Right, let me move that and set it up in a nicer place to view it. That's a better place so we can see the coupling that would have been on the end of the drill. Quite a decent length that. Got to be 8 foot, 10 foot maybe. Get you a view of the design of the cutting head. So it's like a double chisel, and I can just make out it probably has a hole through the centre. Let me check on the other side. So that would have had water running through it as well. Hard to tell whether it's just rusted over. Remains of some ladders there. That one, got a little bit of metalwork in it. This path to the very last part of the chamber. So that lower level that we was on and this upper level both drove at the same time around 1820, and at that time I think they were the longest driven tunnels underground. And we've also camped up here a couple of times. As I think a few people have. That's not our rubbish, by the way. Just an indication of how cold it is. I don't know if you can pick that up there. The Lucasade's turned to slush. The Lucasade slushy. Get some steaks on after. Just had a brew, just going to have another one in a pot noodle. It's 2 times. So I've got a lot of chains here. The handle off something. Securing point for the chain. More remains of ladders. And you can see that very salmon in colour in there? That was a bad thing for the Slate. It meant there's quite a lot of iron in it, and obviously that rusts, so it makes it not suitable for roof slates. Got another fixing point for a chain here as well. Some more brackets. Okay, let's get out of this one. I'll just take you to the edge of this Mosshead high and show you the collapse. Big set of ladders there, really long set of ladders. As you can appreciate, they would need them in here, size of the chambers. And there you can just see daylight. Scramble in and out. Which I think I'm going to do. Back into daylight. So that's the original entrance to Mosshead Eye. As you can see, running, but just about accessible. We've got some nice stuff up here as well, another one of those. Yeah, if you look at that, that does resemble on a smaller scale the one that we saw inside, but it's got the cylinders are missing, and on this side you can actually see the piston with the rings, much like an internal combustion engine with some expansion rings. This one has got a beautiful nameplate on it that we couldn't see on the other. Josh Waddington and Sons Barrowing Furnace, number 332. Wow. Some more rails coming out of the adit. One curving off towards the loading bay. Right, we saw one of these earlier, and I was half guessed that it was a one of the beds that the slates would have been loaded onto, and that's what it would have gone down on. So we've got a nice framework there, and we can see where the cables for this aerial roadway are secured there on the hillside. That's the securing point for them. and we'd have had this small pylon, I think, on top of there. This has got the rockers on it. And you can see the route down to the other fallen pylon that I got in a previous video. Very nice. Let's just have a look at this down here. There we go. That's all part of the cradle system that took the slate down. Obviously that was attached to the ropes. Magnificent view from here. Breathtaking. Got Windermere in the distance there over to the left hand side, and Coniston Lake. Looking down onto Mosshead Mid.